Hey guys, so today I'm just going to do a very quick video about histrionic personality disorder. Previously in the past, I got to be honest, I disregarded the diagnosis of histrionic personality disorder because I thought it was too closely related to narcissism to merit a distinction. And then I actually thought, well, if we're going to have it at all, it should be as part of narcissism as an umbrella term. I don't think that anymore. I think actually there is an overlap clearly between histrionic personality disorder and narcissism, and so some of the behavioural traits and some of the patterns of behaviour, but it is distinct. A few of the ways in which you could say it's a distinct personality disorder are, I think one of the first ones is sexualization. I think most psychologists and psychiatrists, and as it's written up in the DSM, in order to diagnose somebody as having histrionic personality disorder, there needs to be this tendency to be excessively provocative, seductive, and to try and reframe everything as having a sexual context. Another thing is that researchers have observed that people with histrionic personality disorder are generally more attractive looking, visually stimulating, and that they work hard to keep that, to stay good looking. So this is interesting for me because I've had to come back to it because you guys on the channel have said to me, tell us, talk more about that. And I'm like, I don't even really regard that as being a particularly useful diagnosis. I've gone back to it, and actually it's made me realise certain things that have been going on with in my personal relationships and with some of my clients. There is one or two examples where I have actually said to a person, a girl, 21 years old, she's not a client, she's a friend of mine. She's a psychology student, and I've actually said to her, why do you keep bringing the conversation back to sex? Why do you sexualize everything? She's the type of young girl who will flirt ridiculously with men and make very, very strong suggestive statements and then complain when the men respond. And my conclusion wasn't one of narcissism. I just thought this is just immaturity. It's like the difference between saying, is this person a narcissist or are they just a dickhead? And in her case, I just said it's immaturity and it's insecurity. The one thing of value that she knows she has that will keep the attention on her is sexual attractiveness. Now I don't think that. I do think that she ticks too many of the boxes for histrionic personality disorder for me to say, oh, it's just a coincidence. So what are the other boxes? So excessively sexualized behavior. Another one is shallowness of opinion, shallowness of speech. This is something that I've actually saw in my last two long-term girlfriends, is that they could speak quite eloquently and quite convincingly about a subject as though they cared about it. And then, they couldn't even keep up with their own lies. They would forget, and within 2 weeks or a month later, if you ask them about the subject, they'd be like, what the fuck you asked me about that for? I don't give a fuck about that. It's like 2 weeks ago, you were telling a group of people that was quite surprising to me that you're interested in politics. Now you're acting like you don't care. So that's a second trait that is distinct. And what is it all about? Well, it's all about another histrionic tendency, which is always be centre of attention. Narcissists don't always need to be the centre of attention. They can actually, a narcissist, depending on their type, can sit on the sideline as long as their overall agenda is being fulfilled, as long as you're not playing with their narrative that they are the best thing since sliced bread. Then they can allow other people to be the centre of attention. Histrionics cannot. Another trait in another person that I've seen that I identified as being narcissistic, she's actually a golden child of a narcissistic mother, which obviously is going to create narcissism in the golden child because she's been told that, everything she does in her life is perfect. Is again highly sexualized, all the time, highly provocative. The subject of her speech frequently goes back. I'll talk about sex, it's a fascinating subject, but it's not more fascinating to me than philosophy or psychology or politics or, there's other stuff. But when I see a neurotic tendency to go back, that's when I start questioning things. This girl also uses men like things and then complains like hell if a man uses her like a thing. What else was there that was, oh God, a really observable drop in attentiveness between her speaking. If I'm talking, my attentiveness is right here, my eyes are clear and I'm in the moment. But if you're speaking, phone comes out immediately, you know, oh, it's your turn to talk. Yeah. No, I'm this is a remote control for a fan. I didn't even pull that off. Yeah. Oh, yeah, sorry, no, I am listening, carry on. Have you seen that? I've seen it. And then another two things that I wanted to mention was shifting of emotions, sudden shifting of emotions. There is a link that I'll post in the more info bar below to a series of pictures that are snapshots of a WhatsApp conversation between a boy and a girl. It's titled something like the overly attached girlfriend, which is stupid because it's clear from the content of the conversation they're actually not boyfriend and girlfriend. It's a girl talking to the brother or the friend of her boyfriend, and within her WhatsApp messages from 1 minute, from one 60-second time span to the next, she'll shift from, oh my God, I'm so sorry, I just want to apologize, I'm being too emotional, I'm an idiot, to fuck you, I never want to see you again. So she'll go from, oh, you know, I'm really, really sorry, I get carried away, come here. He doesn't respond, there's no WhatsApp coming back the other way. She sits there, goes, panic, bang, and she goes back on the offensive again. Fuck you, never talk to me again, never talk to my boyfriend again, you're such a dick, you're so immature. No response, wait, flips again, bang, oh, I'm really, really sorry. And I was looking at that and I was thinking that flip-flop, that rapid flip-flop from one position to the other is not really a narcissist. That's distinct to narcissism, okay? I mean, it's still intensely manipulative, but it's rooted more in panic, I think. And so the last two that I wanted to mention, one was the emotional flip-flop that you'll see with histrionics, a very rapid change, because all they're trying to do is get a reaction from you, which leads me to think this is more of the traits that are typical of young girls, adolescent females, what you'll see typically. It's like, we're all narcissists when we're 3 or 4. Toddlers are horrible fucking manipulative little tyrants who scream when they don't get what they want, or they cry when they don't get what they want. So actually we could say we've all lived narcissism. I think as well as young men and as young women, we go through this histrionic phase as well. The adolescent mind being the hideous mess that it is for various reasons. I say that as somebody who worked exclusively with adolescents for 3 years, particularly those with emotional and psychological issues. It's messy in there, it gets real messy in there. But particularly amongst young girls, because they're feeding off the emotion of the other person, which is a kind of narcissism, but I do think the distinction is subtle but important. I need you to tell me how I feel about myself through you. So who am I being? It's like you're using them as a narcissistic mirror, but you can't even see the mirror. So you're like, mirror, mirror on the wall, talk to me. And if the mirror doesn't WhatsApp you back or Facebook chat you back, you spaz out and you start threatening to break the mirror. Or you cry in front of the mirror, if you don't tell me who the first of them all is, I'll go insane. It's a Snow White reference. I just worked it in there I'm on the fly here because I have to go out in a second. But yeah, what else was I going to say? The anxiety. So the final trait that I didn't see listed everywhere. I saw it listed in one place because there was a research paper that said the biological basis of histrionics, and I thought, oh, here we go, biological basis. Pfft, what a load of rubbish this will be. And they said they actually had detected. Great. They actually. Really? They actually had detected higher dosages of, I'm sorry, I can't remember the proper word for it. It's the naturally produced ephedrine of the body, epinephrine, basically. So there's higher dosages of that. So everything becomes very angsty and anxious and overwrought and agonized. And I have noticed that in clients and just friends as well. They panic over tiny meanings of interactions. This boy I like, he sent me a text, it said I'll see you at the weekend, what does that mean? it probably means he'll see you at the weekend. I mean, but that's probably going to come off the back of too much of this. I don't. This is a chicken and egg issue with the nature-nurture debate in psychology. I would be doubtful that people are biologically born with a valve that breaks and produces too much natural epinephrine. It's possible, what do I know? But it seems unlikely. It seems more likely a learned response that you become panicky through childhood trauma. And most therapists seem to agree on this one, that people who have histrionic personality disorder will have had an indifferent parent, and they're now spending their entire lives trying to find praise. Praise me, praise me, praise me. And in that way they are very similar to narcissists, but these things are the emotional flip-flop, the anxiety, the excessive production of ephedrine, being very panicky about things, being extremely dramatic and incredibly sexual. Where's the sexualness coming in? The sex is a very easy and quick way for people to get attention back onto themselves, and for some people it's all they know. It's actually all they have. So it's actually, and I think that's part where the anxiety comes from, is they know they're on a timer, they know it's going to run out one day. So this whole issue of histrionic personality disorder, I think we'll look at this again. I do think it's worth saying it's distinct to narcissism. There is obviously overlap, but in order to further understand our relationships at a deeper level, the more specific we can map the problems that we're facing, then the easier it's going to be to come up with really good, solid, specific solutions to what we're trying to do. Okay. I didn't finish my point earlier about the girl who drifts off when she's not talking and the other person is talking. Yeah, the other thing is, if the conversation drifts away from her, she will seek to bring it back to her. And if it consistently drifts away from her, she gets snappy, aggressive, bitchy comments come out, needlessly aggressive, passive-aggressive comments are made. And if, in this individual case, if she's been drinking, she also self-medicates, or she's had a few lines of coke, she will start crying, and making wild accusations. You know, you don't love me, you judge me, you've always hated me, because you're not giving them. In this case, she's not getting what she needs from you. The hopeful side of all this, I should talk more hopefully on these videos. There's a lot of talk about what's wrong, but what's right. Cognitive behavioural therapists report training people with histrionic personality disorder to be more assertive works. Well, that makes perfect sense, doesn't it? Because they want something, but they don't know how to ask directly, so everything is via the back door. Everything is done in a sneaky way, in a manipulative kind of way, because they don't know how to say, hey, I don't know, I'm feeling vulnerable. Hold me, cuddle me, tell me I'm beautiful, damn you. Or whatever it is that they feel like they need at that moment in time. So I'm going to stop there. But do please feel free to ask any more questions. Your interactivity forces me to think, and through people saying to me, hey, talk about histrionic personality disorder, I've just learned something that is massively useful. Relearned it because I kind of arrogantly disregarded it when I first came across it 7 years ago. I looked at it and said, this is a needless distinction psychiatrists need to get out more, which was wrong with me. So that's it for today. Thanks very much for your time and your attention, and I look forward to talking to you again soon.